How's it going, guys? It's me, Brendan Matula.
Matula. And I'm Thomas Hicks. And today, guys, as you know, it's Thursdays, which means it's our sports day. Got a lot of awesome stuff coming up in sports. Brandon's been absolutely killing it week after week, and today is no different. So, yeah, Brandon, I'm just going to let you go ahead and do your thing, man. Let's get right on into it. But before we do anything, you guys, as always, we just want to say thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We got well over half a dozen views and listens over our season 2 premiere. So We're really content with that, and we'll just continue to be doing more. But again, guys, we're just so happy to just be even to just have one listener.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just makes us so content and happy to do this. So thank you guys so much. We got a lot to unpack today. This episode's going to be a little less overwhelming than other ones, because in the past, like, we've had a lot of great stuff, like a college football preseason preview, and then NFL in our last episode in season 1. And this one, we're just going to get things cooking, kind of like we did in season 1, in episode of season 1. So we're just going to have good talking points and setting new traditions, because unlike in the summer when we started the show, there's a lot more sports going on, or rather sports that people like to watch going on, so there's going to be that. And we're really excited. 5 games every Thursday. We're going to talk about it, and we'll go more into depth why we picked Thursday to do that and all those things. And then also we're going to be talking about some NBA talk. Nothing too big yet, because we kind of want to save it for the preview show. But we're going to be talking about a trade rumor that's really been buzzing around the NBA as of right now.
Yeah.
And then along with that, MLB baseball is about to head into the playoffs. Y'all know what it is. And Tommy and I are big Astros fans, and we know that a lot of y'all are too. So we're just going to be talking about, like, what their chances are and, like, how they've looked this season. Tommy's been to a few games, so he can just attest to some of those things. And other than that, let's just get the show on the road. So we just open up with Ben Simmons. Tommy, I'm just going to open the floor to you just to start this out. How do you feel about Ben Simmons?
Guys, just like with Tom Brady and LeBron James, it's no secret and no issue for me to come up with words to describe how I feel about Ben Simmons. I don't like him. I've been in when he first got into the league. Everyone was hyping him up, saying, "Oh, he's going to be the next LeBron. He's going to be the next LeBron." I said, "Okay." Guess what I did? I kept my mouth shut and I watched a few games. And I saw that he was nowhere near the next LeBron. And for a rookie, he was very good, but nowhere near the next LeBron. And what stuck out and will continue to stick out with Ben Simmons, unless otherwise, fixed, it's his shooting. And I was like, you guys, Ben Simmons is entering the league when shooting the basketball is the most important thing, thanks to Steph Curry.
Yep.
How is he going to survive? So, that being said, wasn't a huge fan of the way he plays. And I said to myself, he's not going to last long.
Yep.
He played out the season. I respect it. Having like a family from Utah and just like visiting Utah very frequently and even living there for a little bit, I do have a little bit of a Utah connection, but Utah connection out the window. Donovan Mitchell was the better player that season, honestly. Like I just don't see how you can look at Donovan Mitchell and Ben Simmons and be like, oh yeah, Ben Simmons is the clear winner. If Ben Simmons, let's say he won by just 1 point, fine. But I heard he won by a few. And I think that's totally wrong. Donovan Mitchell is just such a baller, dude. That dude can do everything. And I've said this with Giannis, and I hate to say it because Giannis looks like just such a sweet guy. I bet you if you ran into him on the street, he'd give you a hug, give you a smile and an autograph. And I hate to say this, but basketball is not running, dunking, and laying up. It's shooting and passing, dribbling. Like the main thing out of those three that I just named and a bunch more is shooting.
Mhm.
That is what makes basketball unique from soccer, baseball, football, golf, frisbee, swimming. Like, it is the only sport where you shoot a ball with the same motion that everyone in the world is taught to shoot with, the same technique, into a hoop.
Mm.
And that is the most important thing to the game of basketball. And that being said, if you can't do it, I don't think you're a true basketball player. I don't see you as a true basketball player. I just see you as an athlete.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know, hopefully I didn't go on too long there, but
no, I enjoyed it.
that being said, yeah, Ben Simmons, not a fan.
Well, I agree. Like, let's dial it back just a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
like if we were like, because we've had this conversation a lot, because I wouldn't call myself a Ben Simmons fan, but like I admire him because he's like, let's just look at the positives. Like, he's 6'10" and he's a point guard.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
that he can move like a guard, being 6'10", kind of like my Magic Johnson, which is why he got so much hype coming in.
Yep.
But like you attested to, man, like, he has had 3 seasons of this slander that he cannot shoot.
Mm-hmm.
But I argue that it's not that he can't shoot. I think it's that he won't shoot. He won't. And I just think he has this I wouldn't call it disability. I'm not saying that at all, but I think he's got like this irrational fear of just shooting, because like if we look at like what he did in the playoffs, and I don't know if you saw that play where he was going towards the bucket and he was like very close to it, about to put something up, like easily could have, because the guy's 6'10", kicks it out to his player in Matisse Thybulle or something. I don't know, but like he was being ridiculous, almost like he didn't want to be in that game. And I can attest to this because like I played high school ball and I was great in practice. I did really well there, but I would have a hard time in games sometimes. Like I would like get a little shrill, and it would take a lot for me to get really warm. And in non-high pressure games, I did great. But in the high pressure games, I didn't do as well because I was thinking of like what I could do wrong and all those things. And I kind of relate to Ben Simmons in this regard. I think because in the regular season this year, he looked great. He was first team all defense, which is a career first, I think, for him. I think he was second team all defense the year before. Y'all would have to check me on that. But he was first team all defense. I think he was runner up to win defensive player of the year or top 3. So the guy can play defense, but like, again, the catalyst for him to be great is that he's needed to score and he just won't do it. Like yes, we've seen the viral videos of him shooting a 3 in a preseason game. So the guy can shoot, but the matter is he won't. And it's because he's just got this fear of failure. And that is just not that is not Mamba mentality. I'm sorry. Like, that is not something like Kobe Bryant and just like the greats of the NBA in today's game. That's not what they strive for. That's just not in their identity. Being afraid of failure. Like LeBron James, like I know you criticize him like with his finals wins and everything, but like LeBron's not afraid of failure. Like he's like with the Cavs in 2018, like they got swept in the finals. We know that. But regardless, LeBron was incredible in those playoffs. He had one of the best playoff runs ever. Still gave it his all, lost, failed, like even, but still went all the way. And I can pick any other player who just gives it 100%, like Trae Young in this postseason. He was incredible. I'm not the biggest Trae Young guy, but man, oh man, Ice Trae really, really did well this postseason. And that's just what Ben Simmons needed to do. He needed to just go out there and play without a care in the world. And the thing is, it's easy to do that in the regular season, but it is very hard to do that in the playoffs. And I think that's just where his disconnect is. And I just think the 76ers, obviously, they've been discussing trades lately, but they need to get him off because he needs to change. He needs a coach that believes in him and that's going to build him up. So I'm excited as we just get into the next part, just about possible trade destinations. And one that I wanted to run by you, Tommy, is John Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's look at the facts. The Rockets are rebuilding. You see that they got Jalen Green in there. They got Josh Christopher. They got Porter Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got Christian Wood and then Sengun, that guy that they just drafted. They were trying to rebuild. Yep. And that's okay. But one thing that doesn't go well with a rebuild is keeping I don't want to call John Wall old, but he's older than those guys. A veteran. Mm-hmm. I would call him a veteran.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, it's just not the best idea for both parties to keep a veteran in that atmosphere because John Wall, in whom I respect, deserves to win or deserves to be somewhere where he can win, you know? And we've discussed before, like, possible trade destinations, but as of recently, it seems that John Wall might be a centerpiece in this trade for Ben Simmons. Mm-hmm. We don't know the details of the deal yet, what the Rockets would be sending and what the Sixers would be sending, but we know the big package if this trade happened is obviously Ben Simmons and John Wall. So, Tommy, let's do something a little fun here. You're John Wall's GM,
mm-hmm.
and you're having a private meeting with the Daryl Morey, the president of basketball operations for the 76ers, former mm-hmm. Rockets president. What do you say to him to convince him that John Wall would be a good trade for Ben Simmons?
Yeah, I think if you have John Wall on your team, it's a recipe for success. Now, you know, the Rockets, they finished last in the entire league. And so obviously having John Wall on your team doesn't mean you're going to avoid some hardships. There's a lot of injuries and almost an entirely new roster in the 2020 season. And I remember trade rumors popping up a little bit before December for John Wall and Russell Westbrook. And I was like, no way. Like, that's not going to happen. That would be sick. Like John Wall coming to my hometown and going to see my favorite player because I'd have to wait like I'd have to wait and miss out on a lot of Rockets games just so I could save up for when the Wizards came and played the Rockets. Mm-hmm. But now I get to see him every game, every time I go to a Rockets game. Like, that's a dream come true. This is the guy that, you know, I idolized. This is the guy that I watched before every single middle school, high school basketball game I ever played. And even out of high school, like playing pickup ball, the guy I wanted to be. And I say all these things because, you know, it's now or never. And that's what you're going to hear a lot with John Wall. And it's true. Like, it's now or never. And that being said, like, the 76ers need a guy who has that mentality that, hey, I understand with myself it's now or never. Because I follow John Wall, and some of you may not believe this, but Brandon can attest to this. We DM each other every now and then. Like, I'll say something to him and he'll reply. His replies are always very short. I can tell that. You can tell but like, still, that's like my idol, replying to my DM. And so I remember DMing him after the Rocket season. I just said, thank you for everything you do. I hope you come back. And he just liked it and said, thanks. So I'm like, okay, he's not coming back. At least he wouldn't be happy to come back. So that being said, you know, he knows he's out of there. And it's funny because when Brandon and I were going over what we wanted to talk about today, and I knew that we were going to talk about this, I immediately thought to myself, dang, like, you got the Lakers and then you got the Nets as like your centerpiece for where you want to go if you want to get rich quick scheme, you know, if you want to ring real quick. And to me, if you go to either of those teams, it's not valid. But that's a whole different conversation. But the 76ers is like that one backup team, to where it's like, okay, you want to win a ring, if you're going to go to the East, you're going to go Brooklyn. If you're going to go to the West, you're going to go Los Angeles. But there's that gray area, and I feel like the 76ers always become that gray area. And if I'm the 76ers GM, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being in the gray area. I want to be known as the king of the East.
Mm-hmm.
So I bring in John Wall. I bring in a guy who has experience, a guy who knows exactly what he's doing, a guy who's come off of almost a 2-year injury, fresh legs, fresh everything, fresh body. A guy who knows his weaknesses and uses his strengths to strengthen his weaknesses, and almost mask them to where you don't even notice any weaknesses. And a guy that knows, hey, I'm still giving it my all in every single game because I know that this may be the last, 80 games I ever touch a basketball. So let me make it count. And that's who the 76ers need. They need a guy who knows it's now or never. So you pick him up. Okay. You gang a significantly better shooter than Ben Simmons. Still not an incredible shooter, but seeing John Wall, especially.
John Wall is not afraid to shoot the basketball.
No.
Let's make it very clear.
And Brandon and I went to a game, and dude, he knocked down at least 4 threes in that game. Like, that's not something you see from John Wall very often, especially not like 2014 John Wall, which is arguably his prime. 2014, 2015. I would say 2015 for sure. When Paul Pierce hit that buzzer beater against the Hawks. Oh, dude, good. And you got a young Bradley Beal. That's for a different time. But John Wall can shoot significantly better than Ben Simmons. Obviously nowhere near Curry or KD, but significantly better than Ben Simmons. And you still have that same athleticism as Ben Simmons, a guy who can yam the ball, a guy who can lay it up, a guy who can play defense, a guy who can pass just as well, if not better than Ben Simmons. Because before there was, Ben Simmons with the flashy pass, or not even flashy, just like known as a good big passer. You got Ben Simmons, Jokic. John Wall was he led the league in assists before Ben Simmons' time. So yeah, if I'm the 76ers, you understand the situation you're going into. John Wall understands the situation he's going into. He's honestly just a smaller Ben Simmons, and that could pay off immensely. On top of that, there's always been a who's better, Ben Simmons or John Wall debate ever since Ben Simmons' rookie season, and I don't see why it's a debate. It shouldn't be. It's the clear answer is John Wall, and you need him. As a Rockets fan, I'd be pissed if Ben Simmons was on my team, but I'm more of a John Wall fan than a Rockets fan, and the 76ers are my least favorite team in the entire league, but if I have to buy a John Wall 76ers jersey, I'm loyal to John Wall, so whatever. Yeah, that's my entire segment. Thanks for letting me take the stage there a little bit, Brandon, but yeah, that's what I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a significantly better shooter. Just the only concern with me is his age, and that's understandable. And we're just seeing these. It's so sad to say goodbye to all these guys that we grew up with, man.
Yeah.
Like, let me tell you, like LeBron, like I know he looked great last season, despite all his injuries. It's coming up. Same with Kawhi. Same with
Steph.
Same with all these guys. So we're going to be seeing a lot of desperate moves towards the end of their careers, and we've seen this before. We've seen it with Scottie Pippen. He came to the Rockets for a bit, along with Charles Barkley. Came Olajuwon, another Houston Rocket, went to the Raptors. Played for the Raptors for a bit. Allen Iverson went to the Nuggets. Kobe didn't move anywhere, but Dwight Howard moved a lot, and like now he's kind of settled as a role player. But it's just sad to see these players kind of slow down a little bit. And John Wall is definitely in that group because he was definitely a part of the success that was the growth in the NBA in the 2010s. Yeah. And I think it's a good trade for the Sixers. I just think the Sixers are going to ask for more, though, because they think they have a tainted view that Ben Simmons is worth more than he actually is. Yeah. But so let me throw this pitch at you. So if you're the 76ers, or if you're the Rockets, would you accept this trade or accept this offer from the counter offer from the Sixers? So you get Ben Simmons and maybe Matisse Thybulle, and maybe a second round pick. And then the Rockets give out John Wall, obviously, Michael Porter Jr., or no, not Michael Porter. Is it Michael Porter?
No, Michael Porter's in the Nuggets.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Kevin
All right,
Porter
keep
Jr.
going.
And 2 first-round picks, and maybe Sengun along with it, or a young piece to go with it, like maybe like not Josh Christopher, but Jayshawn Tate maybe, or I know there's another good guy on there that just got on the rookie. He was on first team all rookie team. I forgot his name, but would you take that trade if you're the Houston Rockets?
I almost said yes, but the moment you said Kevin Porter Jr., I had to say no. And Kevin Porter Jr., like you might see this a lot on social media. It might not, depend on who you follow, but out of all 30 NBA teams, the one young player that is the Patrick Mahomes of the NBA, as in the sense that he is going to be the star of the NBA, and we can almost guarantee it, it's Kevin Porter Jr.
What?
So many flashes of Harden, but he plays defense and he's way more athletic. It's insane. And there are so many flashes of potential with KPJ. Wow. And I have fallen in absolute love with him. As before he was at the Rockets, but now that he's on the Rockets, dude, he's going to be the leader of our team. If John Wall leaves, KPJ, we have to center around him.
I really don't know. I think it's got to be Jalen Green. But
it's too early to tell with Jalen. It could be Jalen Green, yes, but as of right now, just going off like what we know now,
yeah,
dude, he's insane.
We can discuss this another time. I think he's I think KPJ is great, but that's why I included him in there, because you got to remember just Ben Simmons being not Ben Simmons, the 76ers just being unrealistic with their trade offers. But that's pretty much all we got with that. We'll definitely keep y'all posted on any developments. We'll post about it actually once it happens, because it's going to be an exciting move, and I want to see what happens. I'd like to see him go to the Spurs, because that is a great development team. Like that's a team that can really help you develop as a player, because you got Coach Popovich, who's the best, in my opinion, the best disciplinary coach in the NBA. A guy that's just not going to take crap, and he's going to utilize you the way you're supposed to be utilized, not trying to make you into something you're not, So I think that might be good for him. I don't know. You could get DeJounte Murray from them if you're the 76ers. But, let us know what y'all think. We'll probably put up a poll soon with or maybe a little survey with what y'all think the 76ers should do with Ben Simmons. But moving on to our next segment. This one's going to be a little quick. But baseball is, if anything, is in literally full swing because it's nice. It's about to be playoff time. And honestly, I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I do like playoff. I do like the playoffs a lot, because it's just, I'm not a big fan of the fall aesthetic in general though, but baseball is definitely a part of that when the playoffs roll around. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that. And one of y'all's and ours favorite teams is the Houston Astros. I'm excited to see what can happen, because, gosh, guys, it's been a rough few years for us. For instance, the Astros got caught up in that scandal a few years ago with beating on the trash cans and everything, which is very much up for discussion, just people having their opinions and everything. But if you ask me, all those teams cheat. It's just a matter of who gets caught and who doesn't. But the Astros are back, though. And they've truly proven that they're a dynasty to be reckoned with, because they are back with 90 wins and are set to win their division and prone to go on a big playoff run. So, Tommy, I'll just turn this to you again. You've been doing a lot of talking today, so why not let you keep going more? But you went to a few games this year. Tell me about like how the team looks as far as being a championship contender, because I'm sure you went to games the year they won a championship.
Yeah.
If you were to compare them, like just gauging their success, do you think do you think there's a consistency there, or what do you think?
Yeah, the greatest quote, as far as the Astros go, the greatest quote that has ever been said regarding them right now, the year's 2021, and I heard this in about 2018, but it was from our good buddy of the show and of our lives, Brandon and I's our lives, Austin Christensen. He says that the Houston Astros are the late 2000s, early 2010s New England Patriots of baseball. They are going to be winning a lot of championships. And he could not have said that. I mean, you just couldn't describe it any better. The reason people hate the Astros is because they're young and they're winning. And that's taken a lot of people off. So, the Astros, your question is how far are they going to go? Are they clinching? Are they winning the championship? So Tampa Bay did clinch the American League, or they clinched a playoff spot. Like they're not going to have to play for it because they are the best in the American League. The Astros only behind by 4 games, so no big deal. They will for sure be making the playoffs. And then just real quick, the National League, San Francisco, the Dodgers, and the Brewers all clinched some playoff spots. And then I'm really proud of the St. Louis Cardinals because I haven't seen that name in a long, long time do this well. So shout out to the St. Louis Cardinals.
I remember in the 2000s they were pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it's good to see them, back to full form. Same with, Colorado too. It's cool to see Colorado doing well as well. But, the Astros, they have not clinched a playoff spot yet, but they're obviously going to because they're the second best team. And it's unless if they lose every single game from now on. If you look, anyone can look this up. If you go to the ESPN, the chances of them making the playoffs that number is greater than 99.9%. So that's pretty cool to see. Same with the same with the Chicago White Sox too. So shout out to the White Sox, but the Astros, if you're asking Thomas Hicks, if you're asking me, they have the experience. We know, whether you love them or hate them, they have the experience. We all know it. I think the Astros make it to another championship.
Wow.
I think they make it. I do. I think they play the Dodgers again in another championship, and that seems to be the average tale these days is the LA Dodgers versus the Houston Astros in the MLB championship, but I just couldn't see the Astros. This Tampa Bay team, they're good. They're very good, obviously, but with a team that has experience like the Astros, what to expect. Your whole team does. You're not losing anytime soon. So
yeah, and they actually play each other at the end of the season. Now that I'm looking at their schedule between Tampa Bay and the Astros, so that'll be interesting to watch. But the Astros have kept their core. They've kept Correa. They've kept Altuve. And they've added new guys in there. So it'll just be fun to watch as a Houston fan because it's baseball time, man. And, man, I'm excited for it. And
also just want to say their last game of the season is Thursday the 30th against the Rays, the best team in the league. And I will be actually going to that game in person. I already have tickets.
Nice.
So I can give you guys a live update on that. Maybe I'll record some footage. We could try to throw some footage in there on the YouTube videos.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, I can give you guys some my life thoughts. I can write down my life thoughts as the game's going on and give you guys an even better conclusion on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you for that, Tommy. But we're gonna move on to our last segment of the night, and it's gonna be a tradition from here on out. So just to expand on that, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show. So every Thursday, we're going to be giving y'all 5 games to watch for the upcoming weekend. And it's going to be for the bigger sports, mainly for like football, basketball, and then baseball, because baseball playoffs are coming up. So there's going to be a lot of games coming up. But we picked Thursday to be the day that we do this because let's think about it. College football happens on Saturdays, and NFL football happens on Thursdays, Sundays, and Mondays. So it's a weekend thing. And then when basketball rolls around, like when it starts getting in full swing, there's a lot of great weekend games. There's always that Saturday night prime time, and then there's a Friday game on ESPN, along with a Thursday night game on TNT. So, and all those games are nationally broadcasted games, so they pick matchups that are usually really good. So that gives us room to talk about and mix them in there. But for now, we're just going to stick with football because that's pretty much what's going on right now. And there's not too many fun baseball games going on because it's the last few games before playoffs. So we're just going to hop right in. So we got 2 college football games and 3 NFL games. Both leagues, as far as the NCAA football and NFL, they're both in full swing. So we're starting to see who's good and who isn't. And we're really excited for it. I'm really excited for it. Y'all know how much we love football here. Special episodes with concerning football, whether it's in college or NFL. But without further ado, we're just going to hop right into it. So we got a top 20 matchup between Notre Dame and Wisconsin. And just to give y'all a little preface of why this game is important is that Notre Dame has always been looked as a team that, like, when they do make the playoff, they're just seen as a team that really shouldn't even be there. They're just not as good as the other teams. They always get blown out. So this year, they're 3-0 so far. They're ranked 12 in the country. And they seem to be doing well so far, but they got some tests ahead. Yeah. They need to really crack down if they want to make some noise in the playoff and actually make noise in the playoff. Yeah. Because they haven't been doing a lot of that. But this game's important because, yes, Wisconsin is ranked 18. But this is important because if they can win this week, they can probably sneak into the top 10. And then next week, they got a top 10 matchup between Cincinnati, which will definitely be a game, regardless of how Notre Dame does in this game, that we talk about, because that's going to be huge for Cincinnati, and it's going to be huge for Notre Dame. High stakes game. We're excited for it. But for this, so just to go through the games, we're just going to go through them, and then we'll make our predictions. The next one is another top 20 matchup between the Aggies of Texas A&M and the Arkansas Razorbacks. This is going to be fun. We're excited for it because
AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, I love that this game is here, and I'm thinking about going. I'm looking
Dude, you should. That's going to be lit.
Yeah, it's going to be great because Arkansas made some noise beating UT, and then Texas A&M is winning their games, and they're winning them well, and they're in the top 10, and they're securing their spots. So this is going to be really telling who's going to be at least a top 2 team in the SEC. And I think Arkansas is going to come guns a-blazing. And this is a neutral-sided game for a reason, because this rivalry is huge. And it's going to be fun to see how fun this game is going to be, because I know AT&T Stadium is going to be packed.
Oh, yeah.
And it hasn't been packed since before COVID. It really hasn't been packed like that since, because the Cowboys haven't had a home regular season game yet. So that'll be fun to watch. Top 20 matchup there. But then we shift to the NFL, and we got the Chargers and the Chiefs both coming in at 1-1. Chargers coming off a tough loss to the Cowboys by a field goal, and the Chiefs coming off a tough loss against the Ravens. So it's going to be really fun to watch to see how these teams respond. It's going to be a quarterback duel. That's why we put it in there. And then from there, we got an NFL between the Packers and the 49ers. That's going to be fun because both of these teams are supposed to be great this year because the 49ers are returning a lot of injured players from last year, such as Bosa and Garoppolo and just the whole squad. So they were in the Super Bowl 2 years back. So they're just trying to capitalize and try to get back to where they were. And then the Packers, it's do or die this year, as we mentioned on the show. It's a big year for Aaron Rodgers. So this is going to be a high-stakes game because this is a rematch, actually, of the NFC Championship from 2020 NFC Championship. And then to cap things off, we're going to call this the game of the week. It's going to be the Bucs and the Rams. This is going to be a huge game. Believe it's in
It's in LA.
Yeah, it's at LA. So that's going to be huge. And if the Rams can pull this win over the defending champs, man, the Rams are going to be looking fine. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and just give our score predictions just for fun and just to give y'all some tidbits there. And then also one thing we'd like to add is that our buddy here, Tommy, has a really keen eye for Las Vegas and all these kinds of things. And he's really fascinated with it, just how it works and everything, and has a really good eye when picking the right team for the right bet. So if y'all are into that, we're certainly not, but if y'all are into that, definitely listen in because Tommy is somebody that is definitely trustworthy at that. So we'll be asking Tommy that at the end of each pick, but I'll go first with mine. So Notre Dame versus Wisconsin. I'm going to go with Notre Dame because, man, like I want this team to be as good as possible for when they play Cincinnati because I think that could be the game of the year playing in South Bend. It's going to be a blast. But I predict Notre Dame wins this game, not by a lot. I think they win 27-20 on top of the Badgers.
Okay. That's pretty big. 27-20. You got Notre Dame coming out of here. Man, this one's tough. This is the hardest one for me, at least, picking a score. The line right now that Vegas has is Wisconsin minus 6.5, which means Wisconsin has to win by 7 points. So a touchdown and a successful field goal or extra point. Excuse me. I think that hits. It's interesting because why is Vegas so confident in Wisconsin? I don't know.
I think it might be because they're the home team this week.
That definitely,
they're playing host to it.
Yeah, that would definitely play a part in it. Notre Dame is 3-0. Wisconsin's 1-1. Man, I'm not going to go too much into it though, just to keep things short and sweet. Honestly, I think in betting terms, real quick, I will say there's a couple of terms people say when betting. The big three are locks, like, oh, that is a lock. Oh, dude, that pick is a lock. That means it's not gonna. There's no way it doesn't hit. It's locked in. Like, dude, that is such a good pick. That pick's a lock. It's gonna hit. And then the two are tail. I'm gonna tail behind this pick. I'm gonna tail with it. We're gonna run with it. It's gonna be good. Or fade. I'm fading this thing. I'm out of here. I'm not picking this. I'm tailing. I'm confident. I got Wisconsin. So if they think Wisconsin's gonna win by a touchdown, I think that Wisconsin wins by a touchdown and a field goal. They win by 10. That being said, I got Wisconsin 36-26. 36-26.
Awesome. Lots of field goals in that. But from there, so we'll hit on the Aggies and the Woo Pigs. This one's going to be fun. I can go to this. I got to find a ticket, though. But I'm going to go – man, I want to go with Arkansas this week. And I'll tell you why. If this game was at A&M, I would definitely pick the Aggies because they got that home atmosphere. But when this game is at Jerry's World, people forget that Fayetteville is almost just as far as College Station from Arlington, Texas. It's pretty much the same drive. I think Arkansas, it's like a 4.5 hour drive, and then A&M, it's 3.5 hours. So it's almost the same thing. So be expecting a fun game.
Pretty good turnout.
Yeah, it's going to be a bowl-esque game.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited for it. And I'm going to go with the Pigs, and I'm going to go with them winning by field goal. And it'll be 24-21 in favor of the Razorbacks.
Okay. Wow. We have the same mindset on that, Brandon. I think there's just too much pressure on A&M winning this game, it being in Texas, and I think the majority of the fans in Dallas will be A&M fans. You're going to see a lot of red, but I think you'll see more maroon. But I don't know, man. Arkansas, they in primetime games like this, when it's time to come in clutch, they usually come in clutch and they beat the team that's supposed to win.
Especially this year, I agree.
Especially this year. So I've been really impressed with Arkansas. I got Arkansas too. Man, that's tough. I'm gonna go Arkansas with 2 field goals to seal the deal. Arkansas by 6. So I'm going Arkansas 45 to 29.
Or 39.
39, sorry.
Yeah.
45, 39. And then Vegas has the line set at, this is crazy. Now, this is a great talking point. Vegas has Texas A&M by 5.5 points, which means A&M by 6 points. If A&M gets 6 points, they win. So a touchdown. Guys, I think we're fading this one. I think it's just too risky on A&M's part to have to win by 6 points. I think if they win by field goal at best. So yeah, I think do the opposite. You go Arkansas by the 6 points. Yeah.
Nice. But just to round it out here, we're gonna have the NFL teams, the Chargers and Chiefs. I'm just going to check my notes here to see where this game is. I think it's in
Kansas City. Yeah, it's in Kansas City.
It's in Kansas City. I have to go with Kansas City on this one. You can't win it. I mean, you can win at Arrowhead, but it's very tough to do so, especially early in the season. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs, and the line says 6.5. So that means 7 points, right?
Yeah, by a touchdown and an extra point.
I think that's accurate. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs winning. I think this one will be a shootout. I think it'll be 42-35 in favor of the Chiefs.
Okay, a shootout. Interesting. Guys, you know I'm the biggest Ravens fan in the world. I was jumping for joy when the Ravens won. But I don't think the Chiefs lose twice, not in a row, at least. The Chiefs, they're going to come back strong, and they have the home field advantage. I've got Chiefs not blowing the Chargers out, but by 2 touchdowns. So I'm going to go Chiefs 28, Chargers 14. I think it's a kind of a low scoring back and forth battle, and the line is Kansas City by 6.5. So yeah, Kansas City by 7 by touchdown. I this might be our lock of the week, you guys. I think if Kansas City wins, they win by a lot, and if the Chargers win, they do not win by a lot. But I'm confident in the Chiefs.
So you're confident that the Chiefs out of this list will cover the spread? Like most likely.
Out of any team in this list, the Chiefs cover the spread.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
From there, we got the Packers and the 49ers. This is a rematch of as we said, the 2019 NFC or 2020 NFC Championship, 2019, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to see because the Packers really responded well. I mean, it was kind of easy to do so against the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to see how Aaron Rodgers and it'll be very telling how successful they can be. It's going to be at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. So, man, I got to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
It says they win by 3.5, so that means more than 3, I guess. But I'm going to go with 2 points. So I think they win, so I got to think of a good score where that could work. You know what? I'll go with 4. I'll go with or 3. Yeah, I'll go with 3. 31-28 in favor of the 49ers.
Okay. I'm gonna go against you, Brandon. I actually got the Packers. Like I said before the NFL started, that the Packers, there's just too much pressure on the Packers, but I do not think they'd lose to the San Francisco 49ers. That being said, I don't think the Packers blow them out either. I think the Packers win by a good solid touchdown. So I've got the Packers 35, 49ers 28. So the spread is minus 3.5 on these 49ers. I say fade that for now. If an injury comes up, obviously hit it quick. God forbid, of course, but fade that for now. However, something a little more interesting for the, anyone who's kind of more into predictions, we'll say betting for now, but predictions is that the over under is 49.5. So that means over 49.5 points, so 50, or under 49.5. So if it's 49 points flat, anything under that counts. Do you take the over or the under? I think the over could, in betting, you rate it the locks out of stars. I'm not super confident, but this could potentially be a lock. So I'm going to give it a 1-star lock that it goes over 49.5 points. So 50 points or over.
Nice.
It's not going to take much to get there. I think it's going to be back and forth. So yeah, that's, if you want a good pick out of that game, that's what I would go with. But yeah, I've got the Packers by a humble touchdown, 35-28.
Nice. Well, that about wraps it up here in the sports section for this week. We hope you all like the changes we've made, and I kind of like them. I really like this segment.
And Brandon, before I let you go on, did you want to cover, I know you mentioned Bucks and Rams. Were you wanting to cover that?
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Messed up there. It's all good. Bucks
all
and
good.
Rams. So this is going to be a huge matchup. Undefeated teams. I would, both of these teams are on fire right now. It's just a shame that they have to face each other.
Yeah.
But man, since the Rams are at home and they're brand new SoFi Stadium, I'm going to go with the Rams, and I'm going to go with them winning by 4. And that score will be 34-30 in favor of the Rams.
Shoot. Okay. You're right. 2 incredible teams. It's going to be a tough one. Both teams have a lot to prove right now. It's going to be back and forth. It's going to be a high scoring game. So, but I do have the Bucks coming out. As much as I hate saying this, I do have the Bucks coming out on top by just a point. So we'll go 53-52.
Wow. Your score?
Yeah, I think it's that might be a little high. Let's go.
Here, I'll help you. So you're saying by 1. I think something realistic would be 21-20 or 31-30. Like you could pick, but like I think that's pretty realistic.
Yep. That's or I'll go 36-35. How about that?
Okay. Cool.
Because I think this is a very high scoring game. I really do.
Interesting. Yeah,
2 quarterbacks that like to sling the ball. I think it could be a very high scoring game.
Yeah, and Matthew Stafford and Brady. I love that. But
oh yeah,
let's
it's gonna
try
be a lot
again.
of fun.
Yeah, let's try this again.
For real.
Thank you guys for listening to the sports section this week. That's all we got, and we hope y'all like the changes we made. I really enjoyed it a lot. This has been really cool, just having Tommy's input on sports books and just all that. Like, it's just really, really fun, and we hope y'all like the picks, and we hope y'all like the topics. Hit us in our DM a topic that you would like us to talk about, because we're open to suggestions. We're kind of just in Montemorum, just waiting on a big thing to come.
That's
the NBA season coming up. So stay tuned for that. But that's it for me. Tommy, I'm going to hand it off to you. Football term there. For pop culture this week. But right before you jump into that, I just want to say I think you'd be very proud of me, because I've been watching a lot of movies lately.
Oh.
So, yeah, I just finished Karate Kid 3 because I've been watching Cobra Kai a lot. That's a show I recommend that you should watch.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool ending to the trilogy story. I'm really invested in Karate Kid, so I liked it regardless, but other people may not like it as much. I then watched Ferris Bueller, a classic, American classic. And I watched this TV show with my roommate the other day. It's called Barry. It's Bill Hader. And I don't know if you're a big fan of Bill Hader. He's on SNL.
Yeah.
But he's makes this comedy. It's about this. I know it's going to sound dark, but it's about this ex-Marine who becomes a hitman.
Oh.
And he's been doing it for years. And then he moves to LA, and then he stumbles into acting class, and he finds out that he actually likes acting. So he gets that mixed up and everything. And it's just a very funny show. It's on HBO, and I love it. But I don't want to take too much of your time, but it's really fun, and I recommend it to you. And I recommend it to the audience as well. But Tommy, what do we got this week for pop culture? All
right, love it, man. Glad to hear that you're watching movies. You know, it's the best art form there. My humble opinion. Speaking of movies, you guys, this weekend I actually have Saturday off work. Surprisingly, I got that without even requesting it. Usually I've been working like every Saturday since I've had the job. So that being said, I'm going to spend that time, if I'm not maybe potentially visiting Brandon in Dallas, I'll be spending that time watching college football and movies. That being said, I'm going to try. My number one movie that I want to get to is Malignant. I want to get to Malignant. At first I heard nothing but bad things, but then slowly these movie critics that are pretty well renowned started dropping little tidbits like, hey, there's some flashes of potential in this movie. So I'm going to go check out Malignant. I want to go check out Dear Evan Hansen. I know it's a Broadway play. Not super familiar with the story other than that I know it's a guy who commits suicide, a teenager in high school. So it's a tough subject. And I'm very excited to go see that movie because there's a lot of controversy going into that movie with the casting choices. So I want to see if the controversy is worth the hype. Or if the hype is worth the controversy, if you will. Two movies that I'm going to see in the theater. Pretty pumped for that. Looking forward to it. As far as pop culture, the rest of pop culture goes, I will say, guys, you gotta bear with me here, but I've been listening to a song from Certified Lover Boy. I have. Oh no! I have, guys. This song is actually low-key incredible. You know, whenever I was listening to Certified Lover Boy and I was getting ready to review it on the podcast, I was so beat up and dead and down in the dirt and just sick. By the time I got to this song, I couldn't care. I just couldn't because I was like literally so drained from listening to that album, that horrible album. But now that I've kind of had that recharge in my battery, Race My Mind, track 15 from Certified Lover Boy. That song is it, you guys. Such a smooth instrumental. Such a very...
So what song is it called?
Race My Mind.
Race My Mind.
Yeah. Can you race my mind? Very synthy, lo-fi instrumental. Drake's vocals actually work on the track. And I know I said it wasn't a great track when I initially reviewed Certified Lover Boy, but once again I had that recharge because you got to remember when you listen to Certified Lover Boy, and if you listen to it, you know the album is just, it'll just kick you in the mouth. I was dead by the time I got to Race My Mind, but this track is it. I'm finally recharged. I'm kind of visiting some highlights for me at Certified Lover Boy. I'm going, okay, was this really a highlight? Is it worth it? And I was revisiting the tracks, came across Race My Mind again. I was like, whoa. It was like the first time I was listening to it. So, song of the week, Race My Mind by Drake, track 15 on Certified Lover Boy. Whether you're a fan of Kanye, a fan of Drake, a fan of Tyler, a fan of Trippie Redd, you know, whoever you're a fan of, give the track a listen. I think you'll like it. It reminds me of a lot of old Drake. Really sick instrumental too. That instrumental is the shine. But dude, Drake's vocals, man, they really pop out. So that's some little bit of music for you. Movie of the week.
Well, Tommy, I only have one thing to say to that, and it's oh man, but I'll have to listen to it. I have to be honest. I haven't listened to Certified Lover Boy too intently, so I'll definitely give it a listen. Just to
give that track a listen, Brandon. I think you would love it for real.
Okay. Okay, I'll give it a try. But one song that I would like to say is my song of the week, and it's definitely a song that's been out for almost longer than a decade, and it's "Mirror" by Lil Wayne featuring Bruno Mars.
Such a good song.
I've been hearing it a lot on TikTok, and it's just interesting that the song really didn't blow up when the Carter 4 came out. I remember when the Carter 4 came out, the biggest song that was like big
6 foot, 7 foot,
6 foot, 7 foot, How to Love, How to Hate, like those songs, but like that song that was a hidden gem looking back. And I might have been missing some things. I don't know, but that's just my tidbit on that. But that's all I got.
Yeah, that's a great track. It's very personal. A lot of the lyrics hit me personally, and I know you could probably relate to that as well, Brandon. When that album came out, Mirror was, because it had the Bruno Mars on it, I think it was like, whoa, you've got this, hardcore, not hardcore, but harder gangster rapper on a track with Bruno Mars? Hold up. Let me listen to this. And it went really well in 2011 when it came out. And to this day, it still goes very well. You're right that it wasn't the most popular track, and I don't even think it was on the radio. But as far as YouTube goes, I know it has a lot of YouTube plays because the music video is really awesome. You should check it out if you haven't. Yeah. Great tracks, just so emotional. Really hits you, especially that last final verse when it brings the instrumentals in. So, yeah, Race My Mind, Mirrors, 2 incredible tracks by 2 of the GOATs. Whether you want to, like, Lil Wayne's is a GOAT, undoubtedly, but whether you want to admit it or not, Drake, as far as GOATs go, he is up there on the mountain. Whether you love him or hate him, he's up there. Yep. Just for his influence. So yeah, great stuff with music. Movie of the week, since we are gonna bring that back, since there's not too much, you guys know I sound like a broken record, but got October. October is the month for movies, man. We're gonna be talking about movies for days on end in October. Until then, we just got to stick it out. Love The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I reviewed that last episode. Probably my favorite film of the year. For sure, tied with Candyman. Still have to sit and think about it. I think about Tammy Faye every day since seeing that movie. Please go see it. It's on HBO Max. I suggest going to see it in a theater if you're comfortable, obviously. Last and final thing I will say is movie of the week. It's not an easy watch. It's not going to be a watch for everyone. But I was talking about it with my coworkers, and we were kind of calling it like a beautiful, imperfect movie, for lack of a better term. It's beautifully crafted, but it is obviously flawed. And that is the 2019 film Joker with Joaquin Phoenix.
Wow.
Very
it actually came out a year ago around this time, actually.
Really? Oh, you're right.
Or 2 years ago, two years.
You're 100% right. It did. And it's not an easy movie to watch. I get sick to my stomach. I've seen it. It's actually, for some reason, it's like free on every United flight. I don't know if that's still the same situation, if anyone's flown United, but it's one of the free movies they offer. And It's tough, man. It'll make you sick to your stomach, not because it's disgusting.
But I feel like that's what makes it such a great film, that it can make you feel that,
Mm-hmm. Thank you, because it's a great anti-bullying film, because Arthur Fleck was obviously mentally disturbed before he was bullied, but what really brought him to that point was the constant bullying and being made fun of, and just getting all this torment. So Joker is our movie of the week. Not an easy watch, but it's a beautifully imperfect movie. It's not a masterpiece. It has its flaws, but it kind of embraces its flaws in a beautiful way. And this is really just getting us hyped because the new Batman trailer comes out in just a matter of days now. I am no secret keeper when it comes to my favorite actor of all time, Robert Pattinson. I have adored him in everything he's ever been in. I love him as a person. Robert Pattinson is like when I enter the field of directing, he's like going to be my dream guy to work with. I just love Robert Pattinson. I think he's incredible. And people when you think of Robert Pattinson, what do you think of? You think of Twilight, but finally he's starting to kind of rebrand himself with these bigger movies. But the smaller movies, you guys, The Lighthouse, my second favorite movie of all time, third favorite movie of all time, Good Time. Good Time is on Netflix. Check it out. crazy, crazy, crazy film with a jaw-dropping scene in the middle of it. Robert Pattinson is a character genius. That being said, new Batman trailer. Are we going to see Joker in the new Batman trailer or in the new Batman movie? Probably not, because it's two different studios. I mean, it's DC, but they're kind of different things. But I'm not saying we aren't. So
yeah, they're not as united as Marvel, but we'll have to see from that.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be a post-credit scene with it, and also Venom is going to be.
I've heard great things about Venom.
Yep.
And that the post-credit scene, there's no spoilers yet because not a lot of us know what it is, but in a private screening, everybody kept on saying in sports, you have to see the post-credit scene. You will freak out. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know what's coming, but I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. But we need to go watch that, and we'll definitely be reviewing that in episodes to come.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Brandon, as always, you killed it today. Thank you so much for leading us into the sports section. I had a lot of fun. It was a lot of kind of tinkering with different theories and ideas as far as sports goes. Guys, if you're in Texas like us, the weather is nice and cool right now. It's crazy, at least in Houston. The temperature is feeling real nice. So go outside, get some sun, get some fresh air. Listen to our go on a walk and listen to our podcast, and give us give us a critique, even if it's harsh. Let us have it. We need all the help we can get as far as critiquing goes. But looking forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. That being said, without further ado, my name is Thomas.
And I'm Brandon Matula.
And we will see you guys on Tuesday.
Peace.
And we're off.